Rooms are disappearing from our houses, and here's why. As our culture and our society shifts and changes, the spaces that we live in and the homes that we build and design also have to sort of shift and evolve to reflect those changes. So here are 5 different rooms that are disappearing from typical modern homes. The formal dining room. So this was generally reserved for holidays, special occasions, but that meant a lot of the time it just wasn't being used. It was just an empty room in the house. And with space at a premium these days, modern homes just typically don't include that. And a lot of the function of a dining room has been absorbed into the kitchen space. That's kind of the main gathering and eating space in modern homes. The parlor. So this was a formal sort of sitting, entertaining space, usually near the front of the house. When guests would come over, you'd sit, you'd have a coffee or a drink and talk about the news, the gossip, whatever it may be. But this has kind of gone by the wayside because it's too formal and we don't live like that anymore. And then when you're not having guests over, it's really just an empty room. The butler's pantry. Well, this one, is kind of self-explanatory. Not too many people have butlers anymore, but typically this was used for storing, your good china, your silverware, maybe plating meals before they were served in the dining room. So that's kind of gone by the wayside, and it's just not a space we really have anymore. The wood room or the coal room. So there used to be a dedicated space in the basement typically where you would store your wood or your coal, so you'd have some kind of fuel source to burn to get you through a cold, long winter. But with the changes in HVAC equipment, mechanical systems, the shift towards oil and electrical systems, gas, we really just don't need solid fuels anymore, so these rooms are basically obsolete. The root cellar. So a lot of homes used to have a cold room in the basement for storing fruits and vegetables, preserves, that kind of thing. But as refrigeration improved and cities have urbanized and global supply chains have improved, we now have access to fruits and vegetables at all times of the year. And this room isn't really necessary anymore. You hardly ever see them. It's too bad. So why are these rooms disappearing? Well, it's a combination of factors. One, we certainly live more casually than we used to. We don't have all these formal spaces that we used to have 100 years ago. We just don't use them like that. Number 2, we have smaller homes in general. We just don't have the space to really have a lot of these specialized rooms that sit empty. And number 3 is the shift towards an open concept floor plan, and that's become really popular the last handful of decades. And we're basically blowing out the walls between a lot of those spaces. So you have a kitchen, a dining room, your pantry, your sort of parlor, entertainment space, maybe a den, and we're basically blowing the walls out between all those rooms and making it into one big space. And it becomes a more multifunctional, more sort of multi-purpose space, and a little bit more efficient in terms of certainly cost and also square footage and actual size. If you're into architecture, follow along for some more videos.